Welcome everyone to my channel. If you've been here before, well, you know the deal. If you haven't been here before, please sit down. We're going to be vlogging. Unfortunately for this, I listened to this whole audible in one day. This Herlock Sholmes versus Arsene Lupin story 2 out of this book right here by Maurice LeBlanc. It happened in one day. I literally went to work listening to it and came home listening to it, and the end. So I didn't get a chance to update you for the blog. But Herlock Sholmes gets a letter saying that I desire your services and experience because I've been theft from. Somebody has stolen something from me and I want to know how that happened. Please come out. And then the next letter he gets immediately after that is from Arsene Lupin saying, hey, I got this handled. Do not come out here. You will embarrass yourself completely and utterly. So Herlock Sholmes goes out there to do it anyways. And what he discovers is that at first he thinks it's the help that has taken the Baron's Jewish lamp and a few other things because she had the means and the motives, but the Baron's like, well, this door was locked, you have to get through in order to be able to do it. And so the lady changes her story because she confesses to save her mistress, who is the Baron's wife, the Baroness, because the Baroness was being threatened by a man that was, I don't know exactly how threatening he was being, but he was being threatening, and she didn't feel like she had no choice but to steal a Jewish lamp to give to the guy. And the lady, the confidant, she sat there and reached out to Arsene Lupin, and they had a little tipped back forth about in the paper to talk about. Sorry, I just saw something and I think it's funny. So I have this Powerpuff Girls real life drawing, like if they're anime character babes and everything, in a much better way. And the Buttercup has a surfboard, and it's got the Kingdom Hearts, one of the Kingdom Hearts dudes on it, and I just realized that, and I've had that picture for a while. So yeah, that's a little cool. So where was I? Oh yeah. So at first Herlock Sholmes thought it was the guy who stole, but it turns out he wasn't, because he followed him home and he shot himself because he was like, oh no. His name was Parc Monsieur. No, is a Parc Monsieur close? No. Who was the thief? Oh lord, I don't remember who the thief is. Oh yeah, Wilson got hurt again. Wilson got hurt again. Where is it? So, yeah. Monsieur Bresson was the one who, was doing the whole, thing. Bresson killed himself because he thought he was surrounded because he was being stalked. So yeah, that's just the way that was. Where is it, guys? But yeah, okay, whatever. So the lady friend of the Baroness, she was trying to cover for her mistress because she didn't want her mistress to get in trouble with the Baron, and she had to ask Lupin for help in solving the problem and getting rid of Bresson because Bresson was being really pressuring on the mistress, the Baroness, and she just wanted that solved for her because she was ever loyal and ever faithful to it. And basically Herlock Sholmes came in and said, oh, it's the lady friend, she confessed, but then the Baron's like, this couldn't have happened, and so the Baroness had to confess, and that put tension on the Baron and the Baroness, and it made the lady friend have to leave for London because she couldn't stay with the Baroness anymore because, you know, she was complicit in a freaking theft that technically wasn't a theft because the Baroness can take whatever she wants out of her own house. And Arsene Lupin is like, yeah, see, I knew all this stuff. I was going to get the stuff and return it to the Baroness, and nobody would have known any of this was happening, because Lupin was trailing Bresson as along with Ganimard and Herlock Sholmes, and when Bresson killed himself, they were like, oh, well, where's the stuff that he lost? But Lupin knew where to look for it, so Lupin was going to go get it, but Herlock Sholmes got there about the same time, and he was like, okay, well, this is a little hard. So Herlock Sholmes and Lupin went on into a boat to talk, and Lupin rigged the boat to start sinking. So when the boat actually sunk, first I thought maybe he was drowning, but both of them crawled out of the boat into the policeman's boat, and then Herlock Sholmes had actually talked to him about, oh yeah, this is what happened. And then Arsene Lupin was like, I'm not going to get arrested. This is not my fault. This is I'm trying to help somebody. And then he pretends like when the officer fires a shot that he got hit and he falls back into the water to drown and die. Herlock Sholmes went back into the water, grabbed the stuff to return to them, and was like, here you go. Here's a ship. So now they think Lupin's dead, but he's not. So what happens is when Herlock Sholmes is on the boat to go back to London, he has, of course, that servant girl there. And the servant girl is like, I don't want to go on because, she didn't, mademoiselle, she was upset that she had to leave the Baroness and that she was going to be all alone and she wouldn't have nobody in her life. And then Lupin and they have a talk about how, see, if you hadn't gotten involved, Herlock Sholmes, none of this would have happened. Everything would have been solved in a peaceful manner, and things would be good. So, yeah, he had to actually admit that he did something wrong. Like, seriously. And Herlock Sholmes didn't get him arrested on the boat. He just let him be. Because he knew he was been defeated. So my favorite character, of course, was Arsene Lupin. My most sickly character was Herlock Sholmes, because this is not Sherlock Holmes. He's more brass, more doesn't really care. Because I'm like, well, Wilson gets shot, Wilson gets injured again, and you don't even freaking care. You're like, oh well, get better. Like what? So what's the normal? All the heartbreak could have been avoided if Herlock Sholmes had never investigated, because Arsene Lupin was already doing a wonderful job of protecting the assets of everybody that was involved. My favorite passage from the story is, this time perhaps the finish had not been so brilliant, especially from the standpoint of the public spectators, since that is not how you spell that. That is so terrible. Sholmes was obligated to maintain a discreet silence in regard to the circumstances in which the Jewish lamp had been recovered, and to announce that he did not know the name of the thief. But as man-to-man, Arsene Lupin against Herlock Sholmes, detective against burglar, there was neither victory nor vanquish. Each of them had won corresponding victories. My favorite quote, Mon Dieu, of course I was protecting them. Must a person steal, cheat, and wrong all the time? Because he's trying to protect all three of them from what was happening. What I thought about the ending of the story. Arsene Lupin escaped and Herlock Sholmes had been met defeat because he made things worse for a married couple and their servant, to the point where the servant had to leave. What story did it remind me of? Not a story, but a manga called Magic Haito by Aoya Goshio. Yeah. This story is part of a series called Arsene Lupin with too many stories. I'll not be able to read all of them because the rest of them are in French and not in English. And I don't know how to speak French. I rate this a 3.5 because it was a little more interesting and Herlock Sholmes was not as nasty as he was before. So, there you go. If you think I deserve a like, I'm going to give you a lovely subscription. Why don't you drop it down below? I will see you next illusion.